I found myself on a family vacation to Hawaii. That, in and of itself, is a great thing. My parents rented a place on Oahu, and my sister and her family joined as well. When in Hawaii, there are usual tourist things to do like visit the Arizona, go to Jurassic Valley, shopping, swimming in the ocean, and do it all with a Dole Whip in your hand. It truly is a wonderful place with great people, and I'm not really going to show you any of that. This is a motorcycle trip. So did I go to Hawaii expecting to ride? Nah. Upon arriving and seeing these beautiful twisting roads with amazing scenery, I knew sometime in the next 2 weeks I wanted to ride. I hadn't brought a helmet, but that's what they have stores for, right? After visiting every motorcycle store on the island, asking if they carry something similar to a 3XL HJC helmet, yes, I said that right, a triple extra large helmet. I've got a big head. All stores were out, or only went up to single XL. As I sat on the beach staring at a perfect sunset, I was down in the dumps. My lack of planning had real consequences, and I was fairly despondent. Surprising everybody, Craigslist was the dark horse and came through. A chap on the other side of the island had one lightly used and was willing to sell it for cheap. It was a 2XL, and I could make it work, even if it might give me a headache. Now to find a ride. So, will some random stranger just hand me their bike? Potentially a dealer willing to let me borrow a bike? Find one by the side of the road? Buy one and return it? No. We live in modern times, and bike sharing is a thing. After doing an exhaustive 5-minute search, I found a company called RiderShare, which looked promising. I had spent the previous summer trying a service called Twisted Road for an off-road excursion I was trying to do, but it seems nobody with an off-road bike on the platform wanted me to rent it. Weird, and honestly not worth the video. So after looking for an electric motorcycle, I was drawn to a dark steed named Harley Pan-America. I saw this bike in dealerships when I was shopping for an electric motorcycle, and while I wasn't going to buy a gas bike again, I was thinking about that Pan-American as I was test driving the Livewire. Here was my chance to try it out. Oahu is one of my favorite islands of Hawaii. I've been to Maui and the Big Island and find them excellent, but Oahu seems to be an island that you can actually live on. One of my friends charitably called Honolulu just like Los Angeles, and I'm pretty sure that wasn't a compliment. But if you want to have access to a big city and spend 15 minutes to go through a tunnel and find yourself in rural paradise, this is the place for you. But how is it for riding? With the size of the island, the limited number of roads and highways, and slow speed limits tempt my enthusiasm? In keeping with my general temperament, my goal was to lap the island in a counterclockwise direction. Leaving at 6 a.m. in the morning, in the hopes of avoiding traffic, I got to see the early morning sun at the start of my ride. Rounding Hanauma Bay and moving from east to northwest, I knew today was going to be great. My joy did have some limits though. That 2XL helmet that I'd bought earlier ended up being a vice, leading me to slowly disconnect after several miles from sheer head pain. I pulled over only after a few miles and set to work. Removing the padding did the trick, but man, things did get windy and I could barely hear myself think. Kids at home, leave those pads in, and plan ahead and bring your own helmet. I'll know for next time. So, what about the bike? Will this Harley Davidson Pan-America change my feelings about my Energica so much that I sell it and come running back to gas bikes begging for forgiveness? First off, the Pan-America doesn't sound like a Harley. It sounds a bit like a really loud sewing machine. Oh, actually, in a related note, I got several comments from people who saw me ride by, basically yelling at me, and I wish I was kidding, that what I was riding was not a Harley. They didn't seem mad, but maybe a bit confused when they saw something that looked like a Harley, but didn't sound like a waterfall of exploding potatoes. Obviously, they felt moved because they had to tell me as soon as they saw it. Secondly, it was a comfortable ride, an excellent balance, and if electric motorcycles weren't around, I probably would have been fine riding this thing all around the United States. All in all, a great bike for people that didn't grow up riding or wanting a Harley, which was me. Thanks, guys, for making a bike just for me. In a perfect world, with an electric bike to rent, would I have rode one on Oahu? Sadly, no. Electric charging is pretty anemic on the island, and unless I was willing to ride with a solar panel on my back and a large number of involuntary rest stops, it just wasn't feasible. New Zealand has shown how islands can create great charging infrastructure, and it seems like Hawaii can take care of this pretty quickly if they want to. That said, I think their cost per kilowatt hour is something crazy like 50 cents, so unless that changes, charging is going to be expensive. So did I have a favorite place on the trip? As an avid film goer / producer / historian, this island carries a lot of things to see. From Jurassic Park to Lost to The Descendants to Kong Skull Island to Fantasy Island, The Spirits Within, and literally everything in between has been filmed or worked on in Oahu. I actually saw a film being worked on during the ride, and maybe one day we'll see it in theaters. Who knows? Anybody has any idea? The roads were curved, sparsely populated, and had lots of variety. It genuinely was a pleasure to ride these roads and explore the island at fast and at slow speeds. That said, it is an island, and if I were to live here long term, these roads could grow tiring and lose their luster the more they are ridden. It may be the best way to experience these roads is to spend a few weeks in Hawaii, rent a bike, explore the culture, be respectful, and leave it a little bit better than how you found it. Sounds good to me, and thank you, Hawaii, for your warm hospitality. Oh, and as a side note, I liked my rider share experience so much that I ended up posting my bike on it as well. I'd love to say this is sponsored, but no, it's not. Just glad to have the experience.